Hello again, everybody. Todd Michael Putnam here from D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing you another adventure table. And this one is my Warlock Town and Village town set. Warlock Tiles Town and Village town set. For those of you folks who follow my channel, either on YouTube, this YouTube channel, or on Facebook or Instagram, you know I usually use a lot of Dwarven Forge. That's what I started off with. I've also added a bunch of Zitterdest stuff, which is a German company that has a lot of hard foam buildings. Advantage for those is they're quick for laying out, but you can't play on the inside of them or anything. Well, the folks over at Wizkids have a tile set called Town and Village, which is perfect for creating types of buildings and stuff that you can actually play inside of, like the ones that I have here. And so this is my first attempt at creating some kind of a town adventure experience using predominantly those Warlock tile sets, including their streets, which are fantastic. I love these. For the most part, I have been using neoprene mats that will simply have streets and roads drawn on them already. That's great for laying something out quickly, but the downside to that is you can't build roads where you want them to. You're very constricted in where you're going to put buildings. When you have these Warlock street systems from their tile set, you can build your streets however you want them, and then build your buildings wherever you want them. So your towns don't all have to look the same or don't have everything placed in similar locations. You're free to build something new and make each town look different, which is fantastic. So again, this is just my first attempt at using them and getting used to the tile sets. A little bit different than Dwarven Forge. There's a little more assembly required for them because they have the Warlock clips that you snap in. But on the other hand, they're fantastic because you can do things like you can, and I can't actually lift it up now because I've got a phone in one hand, but this whole set right here is one piece that I can, with two hands, I can lift it right up and tear it off because they're not individual pieces. They're all snapped in together. So you can add and remove floors whenever you want. Just have them in another room and walk them in and drop them in there as you need to because the clips hold them together. So it's a really an excellent feature to give DMs flexibility in when they actually want to bring a piece into the game or if they need to move it around when they're building the map. I did several times trying different iterations. And I noticed, I'm like, oh, this doesn't look good here. I got to move this over here. Well, when the buildings were snapped together, I just slide whole buildings over at once. And when I use Dwarven Forge, I can't do that. I literally have to get everything all pushed back together and try and make everything all lined up again and spend time doing that. And with the Warlock tile set, I didn't have that issue at all. I literally just picked the building up and moved it where I want it, and I'm done. I mean, it was really a great experience to have that flexibility when you're building. And allow you to try out different iterations. I also included their Grand Bridge, which is a fantastic product. This isn't the entire bridge. They actually have things that can lift it up so it's higher, but for purposes of this particular mat, it made the most sense in order to use it at this level because the tile sets for the streets were almost exactly the right height for the river that I have from Pegasus Hobbies. For the supports to land on, so it made it the bridge just went across it perfectly. So there's bottom pieces that can raise that bridge up higher. I just don't have them in use because it didn't make sense in this particular map. And that's the flexibility of that bridge. One of them is that they're very modular. In fact, if I look close here, you can see some quote-unquote cracks in the bridge. And that's because it's designed to be pulled apart so you can use it as a broken bridge, or you can take that centerpiece out and mush it together and make it a shorter bridge. So if you haven't seen that bridge before, and if you are looking for one, I have several sets of different types of bridges. And I have to say, if I ever anytime I need large bridges, this one's absolutely my favorite. It's fantastic for what it does. And it's also very wide. So most of the other ones that I have are just kind of really narrow. And this one's got a pretty good width to it. To allow you to have multiple things going on that bridge. Perfect, I might add, for any time you're doing combat and you want to have a gap that everybody has to go through and there's a strong point, the troll at the bridge or whatever it is, and so they're going to have to fight their way across or negotiate their way across because the fighting might be too difficult. It's a choke point is the word that I'm looking for. Bridges are excellent for that. And another easy way to use those, if you don't by chance happen to have rivers, is you could literally just take black construction board, black poster board paper, and cut out the edges around the side, and just make it like there's a large crevice going, you know, an infinitely deep hole underneath it. For chasm that they're crossing. So it's easy to do workarounds if you don't yourself actually have a river tile set that you can use. Another example of when I was using the Warlock tiles, this particular building here is actually two separate buildings, and then the piece that's going across the top of it, as I built it, I can just lay that across it. So each of these buildings was built individually by snapping the tiles together, and then I built this and just laid it across the top to pick it up, and I can, you know, and it's all one piece. I can, now that it's snapped together, so I can pick it up and move it across, and nice little extra feature that's going on there. I do have for the forest and stuff, those are the Monster Fight Club trees. Some of them have been repainted. This I think is the natural color. Yes, this is the natural color for their autumn stuff. I've had some of them repainted to have a slightly darker color hue. Some of them I've repainted yellow, just so I can have some more variety in it. They've got some variety, but not as much as I think it'd be helpful in order to make it look more organic. And then finally, I'm just going to add one last thing, is that I do have a lot of the Wizkid's accessory sets in here. If you haven't seen them, and if you're looking to get into minis, they're an excellent way to get into the minis. And the reason I'm saying that is, like, they have a merchant's set. They have a set for the town guard. They have a set for the for this kind of stuff here, for the forge, for, you know, there's a variety of different sets that they have that you can purchase those and immediately be able to put that into your campaign and be able to use it over and over again. For, oh, anytime I need town guard type people, or a town watch, I should say, type people, you just pull that set out. You're going to use it over and over again. Same thing. They've got a tavern type set. You know, you're going to use those over and over again. And rather than searching and finding them all over the place and trying to put them together piece by piece, which I can tell you from personal experience is a pain in the butt, and in the long run is actually more expensive because you're paying for shipping on all the individual stuff. Just grab the Warlock accessory sets and you're off and running. They have a lot of great different features that you can get, and I find that they're extremely useful. So that's it. This is my first attempt at a Warlock Town and Village set, and I'm extremely happy with the way that it came out. As I said before, it does take a little bit more time and effort to put together than the Dwarven Forge. On the other hand, it provides a lot more stability, and there's some flexibility when you're creating things to be able to move stuff around that you don't have with the Dwarven Forge. So it is an excellent tile set to work from, and they also are less expensive than the Dwarven Forge counterparts, which is certainly something to take into consideration if you're going to get heavily into tiles and building systems. You always want to look at how much bang for the buck are you going to get, how big of a table do you need to cover, how much variety do you need, and what's that going to cost you to get there if you're not 3D printing or handcrafting it, which is either more time consuming or can be challenging from the technical end, depending on what skill set you may or may not have. So there it is. That's the set. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Let me know in the comments what you think about the setup below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next adventure. You guys take care. Bye.